Hello, my name is Luke Edward Hall and this is how I live with style. I'm an artist and designer and I live here in the Cotswolds. I've lived here for 3 years and at the time I was living in London with my boyfriend Duncan and our whippet Merlin. We wanted to move to the country and this cottage popped up online and we came to see it and completely fell in love with it. Mainly because it feels really remote when you're here, you can't see any other buildings, and also because it was a blank canvas for us to decorate, which is really what we were excited about. This is the sitting room, which we painted olive green, which is one of my favourite colours. We were excited about doing a kind of our take on country decoration when we moved here. So I got really excited about using lots of chintz fabrics and finally having a big squishy sofa, which we never had in London. We really enjoy making things for the cottage because often we can't find exactly the kind of things that we're looking for. I think we just both love being surrounded by, stuff we've collected, yes, but also things we've made, because I think really it's just that sense of like, it's what we do, and it's a way to experiment and live with things on a daily basis, see how they work. So this ottoman is one that I designed and have made, and it actually has these embroidered golden arrows on top, which I really love. So I made this, and then this table is one of Duncan's prototypes in red lacquer. And then this is one of my favorite things, this leopard armchair, which I found in an auction at, where was it? Essex Road, Criterion Auctioneers, which I love. Duncan and I are both obsessed with Grotto furniture, which, if anyone doesn't know, is kind of a Venetian style of furniture, Rococo, usually silvered or gilt wood, and it's pieces, usually chairs and tables, that are made to look like fish or shells, or kind of a combination. And we saw this chair in an antique shop in Tetbury, and we both fell in love with it, and it's a bit ridiculous, but we had to have it. And it has a pile of books on it because no one's allowed to sit in it. These frames here, we picked them up on holiday in Sicily, and actually it's one of my favorite trips that we've done. It was about 3 years ago, and we met some American friends in Sicily, in Taormina, and then went down the coast, and we found this little jewel box of an antique shop down a little lane, and picked up these prints here, and I just love their kind of pale green, really thin frames, and the cobalt blue sea. And the mantelpiece, it's kind of fun because it's like an ever-changing little tableau of bits and pieces that we bring into the house. And this little lighter we picked up in the Hamptons a few years ago, and we can never really work out whether it's a fish or a chicken. The Egyptian heads were made by a man called Peter Hone, and he's known as the master plaster caster. He has an amazing collection of antique, and I've been lucky enough to visit his apartment in Notting Hill once, which is like a kind of incredible museum, like the Sir John Soane Museum. This is the bar. My favorite drink to make is a Negroni Sbagliato, so I kind of like fizzy Negroni. So there's usually all the ingredients for that. Campari is my favorite. I love a kind of bitter drink. I'm not a massive wine drinker. I kind of prefer cocktails. So for me, making a drink and cooking is a nice way to turn off. I love cooking, so for me at the end of the day, from 6 o'clock, it's time to unwind and do something else. This is like a lethal walnut liqueur made by our neighbour. It's absolutely delicious. It gives you the worst hangover you've ever had. It's also where we keep all of our glassware, and we love glassware. We love collecting glassware. Duncan also makes glasses on Murano in Venice, so we have his glasses. Let's go through to the dining room. On the way, let me show you these pictures. I always take a digital camera or a disposable camera with me wherever I'm going, and these I took on holiday in Italy maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but I don't know, I just really loved them when they came out. They got this really nice kind of blue colour. Come through to the dining room. This is basically the other big room downstairs. It really comes alive on a weekend. I mean, in the country, we love having people over, we love cooking, we love hosting. And these chairs, I found them on eBay and then had them sprayed green lacquered. If you end up with a piece of furniture that hasn't got the best finish, spray painting them gives them like a sort of new lease of life. These two pictures, either side of the fireplace, when we first moved in, I knew that we needed to have something here, and I didn't know what we were going to end up with, so I did these really quickly and had them framed and put them up, and they've kind of stayed ever since. And then here, this vase, actually Duncan got me for Christmas, and we both agreed that it's kind of like hideous, but really lovely at the same time. This is one of my pieces. I make my ceramics up in Scotland. I work with a ceramicist up there who makes things for me, and then I hand paint them. This cabinet, well, let me move this out of the way first. This is a canvas I'm working on at the moment, which is enormous, so it has to live here. This cabinet was actually the first thing we bought for the cottage. We love particularly like anything shaped like shells or fish. There are things that we buy and regret. I mean, I'm not a big one on regrets. I mean, I think that's also like the joy of collecting and the joy of decorating is amassing things, enjoying them, and then letting them go. This is a tray that I made recently as part of my collection with my new brand, Chateau Orlando. So this design is actually one that we've made on jumpers, like this one I'm wearing, but we've also printed it on trays. This is our bedroom. It's one of 3 little bedrooms upstairs. The wallpaper is from Svensk 10, the Swedish interior design company that I've worked with before, making a few products. We love this one. It's called Sunday Morning. When you wake up here, it's very restful. And as you can see, I'm a bit obsessed with books, and I've always got 10 on the go at once. I usually have, like, weirdly, a couple of books on the go about witches because I'm really into English folklore and our kind of strange customs, particularly in the countryside. Since I've been here in the countryside, I'm really interested in other people in the past that have moved to the countryside, especially couples, and especially kind of gay couples as well that have moved to the country, because there are some really interesting stories. People like Cedric Morris and Arthur Let Haynes, who are painters who lived down in Sussex. It's really interesting to connect to people who are experiencing the same kind of thing as you. This is our bathroom, and we painted it this dusty violet colour. This cabinet is one of my favourite things in the house. It belonged to a guy called Sir Roy Strong, who is an amazing historian and writer, and I love anything kind of Gothic. What have we got inside? We've got bath salts from the Slad Valley. Slad Valley is one of my favourite places to visit. It's just down the road, and it's where the writer Laurie Lee lived, and there's an amazing pub there called the Bull Pack. This one I really love in summer, and I love the packaging of this perfume. I think it's like the most perfect bottle with the great text. Also, and seems here, book about keeping chickens, because that's next on the list. I think a plan maybe for next year. But I went through a phase of really wanting to get chickens and was about to order the whole shenanigan for outside, but I think it's a plan for 2023. This is a guest bathroom, and it's also known as the boys' bathroom because whenever we accumulate a new picture of a handsome boy, he goes on the wall here. So we've got a poster from a Mapplethorpe exhibition. We've got a drawing of Lord Byron by my friend Fee Greening, and then also a drawing for an invitation that I did for Lanvin a couple of years ago. This is our guest bedroom. We love having friends to stay, and almost every weekend we've got people coming to stay with us, and we'll cook together and go and see local beauty spots. The things that hold the most value to me are like the little bits of ephemera. Like all that stuff stuck on the fridge, weirdly I'd probably be more upset about losing than that fab Rococo Grotto chair, because all of that stuff can never be replaced. You can always find a new amazing old chair or whatever, but you can't replace the drawing that my niece did and is stuck on the fridge, which sounds really corny, but it's, it is true, I think. The most successful or most interesting interiors are ones that really reflect their owner's personality and character. This house, I hope, represents me and Duncan and what we've built together and our interests and passions kind of coming together. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed looking around today. I'm off to take Merlin for a walk, but don't forget to subscribe.